Hello to everyone. You are watching Startup Booster, an online guide that will help you to create and develop a successful startup. This video course was created by global platform for startups and investors, InMind.com. InMind connects professionals in the sphere of innovations, helps startups to find investors, mentors, and experts, provides with instruments and resources for growth and development of a business, and supports investors with expertise and due diligence. I'm Katerina, co-founder of InMind, and our guest today is Tal Catran, acceleration guru and keynote speaker and serial entrepreneur. Hello, Tal.
Hi, shalom.
So today we are going to speak about acceleration. Who else we could choose other than this awesome and outstanding professional in this field than Tal Catran? And our first question, Tal, could you please explain to us what is accelerator and what is the main goal of an acceleration?
Okay. First of all, thank you very much for having me. It is great excitement. You know, this is a Friday here in Israel. It's a resting day, but still, I love to do this, and I'm really honored to be in this lecture. Now, regarding to your question, so when we talk acceleration, we talk accelerating, meaning moving faster. So most programs of acceleration would be either, I would say, about 5 to 6 months, where an entrepreneur is getting lectures that would help him in time to really push ahead and boost his startup. The lectures will be mainly on a subject which are related to his day-to-day. It will be about patents. It will be about founder's agreement, term sheet, which is a paper that you get when you sit with your investor. It will be about marketing and business development. So all in all, it's meetings where you get lectures, workshops, you get train and practice, different subjects. What you don't do is you don't deal with technology, meaning almost all accelerators I know, except for 2 of mine here in Israel, do not deal with technology. Technology is left aside to be the entrepreneur's business. He needs to push that ahead. Everything else will be provided by accelerators. I will add that most accelerators do not invest money. They don't invest money. For that reason, most accelerators do not take any equity or royalties from the startup. They take a small admission fee. In some cases, they will give you a co-sharing office space to sit in, but they will give you a lot of hands-on or hand-holding mentorship.
Mm-hmm. Thank you. And putting aside this technology aspect, as I understood you, as you said, it's not covered in an acceleration program. Speaking now about the business part, what a startup founder can expect from an accelerator and what he will have to do himself.
Okay, I think that this is a very important question regarding to expectations. So first of all, before the startup founder expects something from someone, he needs to know what he expects from himself, from his startup, and then move on. Meaning, if you are now in a pre-seed or in a seed stage and you're looking for funding, if you have already an MVP and you want to launch your alpha or beta and you're looking for someone that will host this, kind of a customer, or as we say, early adopter, for instance, that's another thing. If you're already a running startup and you look for, I don't know, a CTO, or you want to push on and do commercialization, meaning moving outside your country. So each and every one of these issues is a question by itself that needs to be answered by the founder. Once he knows what he wants, then he can look and find the right accelerator. Just for the simple reason, not all accelerators are the same. They're different by subject, meaning field of expertise. They're different by their investors. They're different by their networking. If you're looking to push on to US, You don't do acceleration in your own country. You look for accelerator in the United States to do that for you. If you look for investment in medical devices, you look for the right accelerators that also deals with this technology. So you understand, it starts with asking the right questions yourself, maybe, and always recommended, get some recommendation from a veteran, okay, mentor, and then you push on. And the network is full of those people. Go on LinkedIn and Facebook, just ask a question, you'll get a gazillion answers.
It's great. You have foreseen one of our next questions about about choosing the right accelerator. We will get back to that a little bit later. But now speaking about this, getting into the accelerator program, what does a startup need to have? What a startup needs to have? For example, whether it's only the idea plus a strategic understanding, as you have said, or it has to be for sure a prototype or some kind of MVP. So at which stage a startup can address to an acceleration program?
Okay, again, a very good question. And the answer here is quite simple. And this time it will be from the side of the accelerators. So an accelerator, when he publishes that he sends a call out and saying, I'm open the next batch, he will say straight off what he's looking for. Does he look for what I call the PowerPoint startup? Meaning all you have is a PowerPoint, or you have an MVP. I can tell you that the trend these days is pushing more and more towards you must have at least an MVP. Why? Because wasting someone's time on a PowerPoint, although it is important, to do that in acceleration program is a bit of a waste of time, because then all you do in the end of the program is that you have a great presentation and you know how to pitch it, but you have no technology, and you are competing on technology. People, investors, for instance, investors, they're human, okay? I have a dog, I have a home, I have a wife, I have a kid. I'm not a Superman. And although I'm called an investor, they're ordinary people like you. The only difference, they have money. Depending how much, angel investor will probably invest, I would say, 50 to 100K just to begin with. Why? Just because they don't know you. So just to go back, and I hope we'll have time to talk about this. I think this is very important. Expectations. What do you expect out of the investor? But since you've asked about accelerators, I'm going back to this. So the accelerator will tell you what he's looking for, okay? And he will tell you that if he's looking for a startup in a pre-seed stage, having only a PowerPoint presentation, then you have it. I mean, he will look for you. Otherwise, as I see it today, and I'm pushing my own programs, is to have an MVP. Because again, acceleration time is very short. If you come with a PowerPoint presentation, what do you expect to get in 4 months, in 5 months? Probably not much. Not much. It is a problem. It is a challenge. Okay, so, but putting that aside, I do recommend all startups get into acceleration. Get into accelerators. I can tell you in Israel, by now, if you did not graduate like 2 or 3 accelerators, you're not something. You need to do it. And they all open. I mean, in my program, you can be in my program and at the same time be in someone else's program. I don't care. You can be in mine and in Microsoft or Samsung. I don't care. It's fine. As long as you attend my meetings, I don't care to share you, because the accelerator mission in the end is to have very good startups with very trained founders with great technology. That's the issue. That's the mission statement. So once you understand what they want, make sure you're serviced the right way as you want as a startup.
You have just touched a very interesting topic of being accelerated in several accelerators, because very often startups are asking the questions about like getting into one, but now having this idea of getting into several. So what do you think, like whether it is a good idea for a startup who has just finished, for example, one acceleration program to go immediately into another one, or it's better to have this kind of like period of time when you are rethinking, reconsidering what you have just learned, what you have just taken out of this first accelerator. What is your opinion?
Okay, so first of all, acceleration takes time. It's time consuming. It's not like you get homework in a way that you must submit or you're getting tested. No, it is a place where you bring yourself and you're getting help. It is up to you to decide how much you're willing or you can invest your time and efforts in taking part of the program, okay? But no doubt, if you have the time and you see the reason for it, use or go or participate in as many as you want. Again, that's not the issue. The issue is that you're getting the best of what you need and you're giving your best time, you know, to use what you're getting. And then again, if you feel like you need it, good. Of course, you need to ask yourself, if you are in a program and you feel you're missing out and you need at the same time another program, maybe there's a problem. Maybe that's not the right program for you. Again, because it's time consuming and you don't have the time. Most of startup founders I know, first of all, they're flat broke. They don't have a dime. They're poor. They need to hold their day jobs. If you're having your day job and being able to go into 2 programs, I salute you. I mean, that's a huge effort. In reality, it doesn't happen. And you need to take, and you just need to take into consideration that you're talking to Israel. Israel is considered the startup nation, not just because the sheer number of startup per capita. I mean, this is undoubtedly, Israel is the first in the world. So many startups for so small number of people is unheard of in the world, okay? You know that by now we calculated on square meters, how many startup per square meter you have in Israel. And the numbers are staggering, really, it's amazing. But again, where we go for quantity, maybe others go for quality, have no doubt. Israeli entrepreneurs are first in the world in every aspect, just because for us, we live in survival mode. Every startup lives in survival mode. The startup survives hoping he will raise the money and his CTO will finally reach the milestone he promised. That's a real startup. But we live in this way as a country, as a nation. You know, we're surrounded by brothers that loves us so much and not so quite. And for us, it's a struggle. So it's a double struggle. Okay. But again, to go back to your questions, I think you got the picture.
Yes, absolutely. And can you just clarify, like in terms of the time consumption, how much time approximately, let's say, like an average accelerator would expect from a founder? So how much time he would need to invest into, let's say, like standard program, and then a little bit additionally of his time to, let's say, to do the home tasks?
Okay, so the programs that we have today differ, meaning if you're going into a program where you meet every day for, let's say, 6 hours a day, you will not be accelerating for 5 months, not even for 4 months, maybe 3 months. I don't believe it. I believe that it will take you about 2 months, maybe, if you do it every day. If you're just sitting in a cost-sharing office that will give you lectures once a week, like meetings once a week, for let's say 6 hours, then probably it will be 3 to 4 months. If you are in programs that I do, where you meet twice a month for 3 hours, and the rest of the time is one-on-one with me, then my program lasts for 6 months. Okay, so all in all, it will be about 12 meetings, it will be in the neighborhood of maybe 50 to 60 hours in total. Take this number, spread it. This is like every program in the world that I know. These are the boundaries. 60 hours, about 12 meetings, and then it differs. What is the rate that you get them? Like every day, once a week, twice a month. That's the difference. But again, this is just like frontal meetings. The rest is like this. You work with your mentor. So what we do in the program is we do hand-holding. We bring the startup on the one side, and we do what I call speed dating. So we bring the startup on the one side, we bring the potential mentors on the other, and the startup needs to find the right mentor, and the mentor needs to like the startup, and then they hook up, and he will guide him through the program. Remember this. I want you to emphasize what I'm saying right now. Startups like to take on board mentors. They call them advisors. They put them on their advisory board. What they don't do, and they don't remember, and they must understand this, is that a startup is like a baby. In each step, in each time of his life, he needs a different mentor. You're born, you need your mother, your nanny. You grow up, you go to kindergarten, then you go to school, then you go to academy, university. In Israel, then you go to the army. Then you get married, you get a new boss, your wife. So during your life, you change the people that will mentor you. Same is a startup. You cannot start and tell me after 2 years, you're still consulting the first mentor. Doesn't make sense. So remember this. When you put someone on your advisory board, have an agreement with him. Have an agreement saying you're on board for 1 year. After 1 year, the agreement is canceled. If we need you, we'll get back to you. If not, we move on. Very important. I'm saying this because most startups put their advisory board on the website and they leave them there for 10 years. No reason.
Yes, absolutely. So the main thing that we could bring out of what you just said is, first of all, that any startup can find the program that would fit, first of all, the needs in terms of the stage of the development, and second, in terms of the time consumption and the time distribution. So if you are working on the full-time job, it doesn't mean that you cannot follow the program. And
Exactly.
Another thing is that, yes, as Tal has just mentioned, is about this advisory. Very interesting idea about startup who found, for example, advisor a few years ago, and they're like gathering them all together, like a big list of advisors on the website. So it's not the right idea to do that. Thanks for this advice. It's really great to hear it from you. Could you please tell me a bit more about the let's say a fear of startups? Lots of startups ask us, like, what if we come to an accelerator or, for example, to an investor and they're taking up the control over the project? Does it happen often? Does it happen like just sometimes like that in an accelerator, or it's just like a stereotype or like useless fear of a founder?
Okay, so first of all, I must tell you, I've never actually met a startup that told me this. I listened to your question, and I'm not, either I don't understand it in full, or I never heard something like this. And I'm saying this because I travel worldwide and I see many startups. I never saw a startup founder telling me, listen, I need to live here because the accelerator got hold of me and he's now managing my startup. Never. He wishes that would be the case. It's never the case, okay? So, and even here in Israel, where most of us are military guys, where, our nature is to manage, is to give orders, and we don't, okay? Because, and remember this again, when you get to acceleration program that does not invest in you and not take any of your equity and royalties, what can they tell you? How can they manage you? They cannot. If you feel you're being managed, think. Maybe you need to talk and advise your program manager. In many times, if you would stand from the side and look at what I do with my startup, you'll say, oh my God, the guy runs them. No, I don't run them in the way that you mean. I run them in the way that I gave them a mission, and they gave me a mission. They came to me and said, we want to join your program because we want to advance ourselves. And I gave them a mission. You want to do that? You listen to me. And from that on, I'm not running their show, but I am in a way holding them to the word. If we decided that in 2 weeks you will show me so and so, of course I will call you and tell you what's going on. It's not like I'm managing you. I'm making you hold to your words. I'm making you fulfill what you promised to yourself, but you cannot do sometimes because of, I don't care why. I'm there to push you. I'm there to hold you, but I'm there to support you as well. So have no fear. No one is running your startup.
So maybe this was the fear mostly concerning those acceleration programs that are taking the share, that are participating in the startup, not only as mentors, but also in a management part, like taking once again this share.
I really want to answer this. Listen, ask yourself, why are you running a startup and not working in Intel or working in give me a big in Boeing, Microsoft, Cisco? Why are you not employed by a corporate and decided to be an entrepreneur, meaning be your own boss? Remember this, the first time you took $1 from someone, he's running you right now because you're holding his money. When you turn to an investor or when you turn to an acceleration program that invested in you and you're holding their money and they're holding your equity, of course they will tell you what to do. It's their money. So you need always to remember, yeah, but you know, we talked and they gave me, I don't know, 150K and they gave them 15% of the company. Okay, so if you go over 10%, they're already a major investor. They sit on your board. You need to hear them. You're not controlling the show anymore, although you're the major shareholder. Still, you have a partner right now. Remember this when you take money.
Yes, that's a very important point in any fundraising, as we are always saying to startups, first think whether you need it, and then already go and start looking for investors and for new people on your management board. Coming back to the acceleration programs, so is there any guarantee of the result that the founder will get after finishing the program, or it all depends on him?
First of all, it will always depend on the entrepreneur. Again, for the simple reason, it's his business. It's his business. He owns it 100%. So if you own something 100%, it's up to you to make it successful. For the accelerator, it's much easier. I mean, he gives you a syllabus, he makes meetings for you, he advises you, he mentors you, he helps you. But what more can you ask? I mean, what are guarantees? No guarantees anywhere. Because again, there is a very short time, 4 to 5, maybe 6 months, and that's it. In that time, I need to teach you to become an entrepreneur, and you need to push your technology ahead. Hopefully you have the right team with you, which is always an issue. We need to talk about the right team. Okay, we need to discuss this. Main problem, CTOs, technology people are very hard to find. Okay, it's an issue. If you want, we can do a whole program just on pairing up with your right partner. It's a different show. It's a different lecture we need to do, because that's the essence. That is the essence. So if you failed or not, It's not up to the accelerator, it is up to you.
All right, so I hope that all the startups and founders now heard this idea that it's not about the acceleration program that will do the things for you. It's about you being, let's say, directed into the right directions. So according to your strategies that you as a founder has chosen. So my last question, Tal, to you would be, could you please tell us the top startup accelerators in the world, in the different regions? So we all know the US Y Combinator. Probably you could just add up a few of them, like in different regions.
Okay, so I know it's not accustomed to change the question when you're asked it, but if I saw the question, I hear the question, and I thought to myself how to answer it. So I think the following. Since I meet a lot of startups in Russia in general, and since, as you know, I mentor the Skolkovo program, and I see a big problem for startups generally with commercialization. Getting out of your country is very difficult. Whereas in your own country, it's the same language, same culture. You know people, you have friends, family, support, investors. You know, we have a phrase saying investors love to invest what is called a bike ride away from their office. To find an investor from the United States that would like to invest in a Russian startup is difficult. Even for him to invest in an Indian startup or a Chinese startup, the only thing is not difficult for him is to invest in an Israeli startup. Now, you should ask yourself why. I mean, I go to countries in the Baltics, in the Nordics, and I hear the country trying to propose cheap labor, for instance. Come to Israel. There is no cheap labor here. A software programmer in Israel would earn about 8,000 to 10,000 euros a month. Workforce is not easy. Still, when you look up at the skyline, you see Facebook, Google, Intel, IBM, Samsung, Freescale, Cisco, all the big names are all here. Why? If they're not hiring our people to work, why are they here? They're here because they look for innovation. They're here because they look for innovative technology, hopefully disruptive. You should do the same. You should invest in studying. You should have not just go to the best college or university, but also have entrepreneurship lessons as part of your curriculum, which here in Israel, every university, every college, it is almost becoming mandatory to learn entrepreneurship as a way of life, as a way of culture, okay? My youngest is 6 years old. Her name is Tamar. And when she sees something new, she doesn't go, hey, Dad, this is new. She says, hey, Dad, that's a startup. Because this is how we use the word new. Now in Israel became the word startup. It's a culture thing. Now, to tell you that I know there in the United States, as you say, Y Combinator or Techstars, for instance, okay? Going to Skolkovo in Russia, or I don't know. I know ones in Estonia, Latvia, Lithuania, Romania, Impact Hub here. The names will not help you much. It is about first being able to meet what you promised yourself. Have a great team. Remember, investors do not invest in your technology. Probably they will never use your technology. They did not even download it to their phones to use the app that they invested. But they invest in people. You need to have the right team with you. And also a team, as I said before, changes along the way. But the core stays. Yourself as a CEO and your CTO, and that's it. If you're like an MVP, you don't need to have a marketing manager. What the hell are you marketing exactly? You have nothing to market. CEO, CTO, done with, okay? So I do see the potential. I see the potential everywhere in the world, have no doubt. I see programmers all over the world, great programmers. I see the problem with taking risk. I see problem with getting engaged fully in what you do, believing in it, and raising money. Raising money, as we say, is a bitch. It is very difficult, okay? You need to raise money. You need to go to a bank, say, give me a loan, if you believe in yourself, okay? So there's so many issues to discuss, and I'm here to help because you got me committed to this, and I'm opening now my channel to you. If you want to consult with me, if I can help you in any way, in connection, in idea, in brainstorming, please, I urge you, send me a message, okay? And let's see if I can help. I will sure like, again, because of you, because of the program, because of the time, really, to push ahead and see how much good I can bring you as well.
Thank you, Tal, for your openness and readiness to help. And to all our listeners, to everyone who is watching this video, you will find the details and the link to the profile of Tal Catran and In Mind just in the description to this video. I would like to thank you, Tal, for the wonderful and very, very helpful answers today. I hope it helps all the startups to understand one very important thing today that we brought up about the role of the founder, about the strategic vision before going to any acceleration program or any fundraising or any other activity. So it is the key that is happening inside the team, inside the brain of the founder. Thank you, Tal, for being with us. And thanks to all the listeners for watching and listening to our.
Okay.